All right, creating a drawing should be the easy part. We've done all of the hard work in the part file. So I'm going to do new and drawing. If you have a custom template, you're welcome to select it. We're going to make a template here probably towards the end of the assignment. The couple of things to watch out for. This is going to the sheet formats. If you are only seeing the ISO A0 through A4, means we're in the ISO standard and it's picking those as the default. You want to uncheck only show standard formats, and that'll give you the A landscape. Let's see if we go back to that one. I think it's the A3. Notice how the title block gets smaller and smaller, and then we go to portrait. So this is a little closer, but the ANSI A landscape takes up a lot of real estate, and there's information that I really don't need for this group. So we'll take a look at how to make that more efficient. All right, so usually if you have not turned it off, you will be in the model view. So yours should open with something like this, and that box is probably checked. I want to do both the model view and the view palette, so I kind of work from the view palette. If you have a part open, a part or assemblies open in the background, then it will show up in the list. Otherwise, we would browse to the file that we're looking for. To go ahead, we're going to hit the little next arrow, and we have to tell it which views we want to include. Typically, we'll just pick the front, the right, the top, and the isometric. Mentioned before in the first angle and third angle projections that if the isometric shows up here, then you're in the first angle projection. So it just has to do with how the part gets visualized and folded up. All right, so we're going to go with the hidden lines removed initially. If there is value in showing the hidden lines visible, usually they're just going to make the views a little more cluttered. So it's a preference. Let's put it that way. The scale is a little bit large here, so we can come down to the status bar and make this a half scale, and that will open up some room. The other thing is if we don't need a view, I look at this and I can get all of my dimensions into these two views. Then I really don't need the third view, and having a left side view and a right side view, don't really need those. So thing to note is as we move these around, the alignment is to the parent or the front view, and the top view will move up and down with it. The right view moves back and forth, and any other views that we've added will stay. If we add a view and it needs to have alignment, then we can right click and add it. But to remove a view, we just highlight it and hit delete. Now I can go back and see if I could leave this at a 1-to-1, and it's still going to be pretty tight visually. If I had this other inch or so, then I could just look at reducing the scale of the isometric and have it go a little bit smaller, and that would open up some room. But I don't think I can quite get that. So we're just going to go back to the 1/2, or I can use a user defined and say maybe I want to do something that is 3/4 size. All right, so somewhere in between, not as big as, but a little bigger than before. All right, so the arc did not get a center, so under the annotations, I can go to center marks, and if we tell it to go for the for all of the other holes, it still isn't picking that one up. So let's see if I can grab that face. And is it not going to give me the selection for that one? Nope, it's not picking up that face. So I haven't encountered that one lately, so let's go ahead with it. We'll come back and look at that one. So for our dimensions, let's stay with the baseline. We're still in metric, so we can pull those shapes. And if we're thinking about the tolerances or tolerance zones that we would want to be concerned with, we can kind of drive these. So the first pass is to get the views, get anything that needs to be resolved in place, and then we'll come back and on the second and third iteration and clean these up a little bit. All right, so 20, and since those are the same but they're at different levels, let's go ahead and just put the 30. All right, so it is showing up as a radius. And if we go those directions, I can move this around a little bit, shift it. If I bring that over, so this is one of those instances where I have some ghost images for moving it. Those will just kind of hang out until, let's see if we rebuild. No, it's more of the graphics display that is picking those up. So let's go with the smart dimension. And then we'll place, if we go all the way through, and we have our geometry. Let's see, we kind of already went that way, so I'm going to right click and select to get back to just the arrow, and we pick that geometry. All right, and then the width can go between the two objects, so we're doing a lot of the same selections on the drawing views that we're doing in the sketches. So that gets everything there. We have all of the geometry, and we can go ahead and save this, and it picks up the same name, and we'll go ahead and save. Okay, so I wanted to push a few more buttons. So in the center mark, I made sure that all of these auto insert were unchecked, and everything was still in place. So that allowed me to pick and put in the center line. So really that was my missing dimension, was to be able to pull that one out. The other thing that I wanted to close with then is the ghost lines that control. Let's see if it has the control B for the rebuild. There's also a control Q which forces a complete rebuild, and the control Q actually remove the ghost lines. So I'm not worried about the titles. Doesn't look like it brought anything more than the drawing number, so that's good enough for now. And I think we're good on this drawing. So the next drawing that we do will be a multi-sheet with the rest of the parts, and so we'll build the other 4 models and then insert them into one drawing, so we have a drawing packet.